cause much laughter. His brilliant luster is like freshly cast gold. I bow down to Gaura, this beautiful son of Mother Sachi. Can you make sure this is not stretched? The red box. So, he is endowed with ever-fresh love of Godhead. His radiant luster is like that of a color of a fresh butter. His fresh attire is arranged in ever new fashions. He relishes every new mellow of love for Krishna. He shines in ninefold new ways while executing the ninefold process of devotion. He is permeated with the most auspicious loving nature. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He is absorbed in devotion to Sri Hari. He maintains the chanting of the names of Hari. While chanting, he counts the holy names on the fingers of his hand. He is addicted to the name of Hari. He also always has tears of love welling in his eyes. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He is always removing the suffering of material existence for mankind. He is the goal of life for persons who are dedicated to their supreme interest. He inspires men to become like honeybees, eager for the honey of Krishna Prema. He removes the burning fever of the material world. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He motivates pure devotion unto himself. He is most attractive to his beloved servitors. By his drastic dance, by his dramatic dancing, he exhibits the characteristics of the king of paramours. He causes the minds of beautiful young village women to dance. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He plays kartals as his throat emits sweet melodious sounds, and the vibrant notes of the veena are softly played. He thus inspires the devotees to perform dramatic dancing that is infused with aspects of his own devotional service. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. He is accompanied by the Sankirtan movement, which is the religious practice for the age of Kali. He is the son of Nanda Maharaj, come again. He is the extraordinary brilliant ornament of the earth. His preaching mood is suitable, adapted to the cycle of birth and death. His consciousness is fixed in meditation in his own form of Krishna. He is always accompanied by his transcendental abode. Bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. His eyes, the soles of his feet, and his clothing are reddish, like the color that heralds the rising sun. As he utters his own names, his voice flutters. He awakens a sweet flavor to life throughout the universes. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Sachi. Nava Gauravaram Nava Pushpasaram Nava Bhavadharam Navalasya Param. Nava Hasyakaram Nava Hemavaram Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram. Nava Premayutam Nava Nita Suchang Nava Veshakritang Nava Premarasam. Navadha Vilasa Suva Premamayam Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram. Hari Bhakti Param Hari Namadharam Karajapyakaram Harinama Param. नयने सततं प्रणयाश्रुधरं प्रणमामि सचीसुत गौरवरम् सततं जनता भव तापहरं परमार्थपरायणलोकगतिम् नवलेहकरं जगतापहरं प्रणमामि सचीसुत गौरवरं नवलेहकरं जगतापहरं निज भक्तिकरं प्रिया चारुतरं नटनर्तननागर राजकुलम् कुलकामिनी मानसलास्यकरं प्रणमामि सचीसुत गौरवरम् करतालबलं कलकण्ठरवं मृदुवाद्यस्विनीखया मधुरम् निज भक्ति गुणावृत निज भक्ति गुणावृत नाट्यकरं प्रणमामि सचीसुत गौरवरम् युगधर्मयुतं पुननन्दसुतं धरणीसुचित्रं भवभावोचितम् तनुध्यायनचितं निजवासयुतं प्रणमामि सचीसुत गौरवरम् अरुणं नयनं चरणं वसनं वन्दनं वन्दे सखितं स्वनामधरम् कुरुते सुरसं जगत जीवनं प्रणमामि सचीसुत गौरवरम् प्रणमामि सचीसुत गौरवरं प्रणमामि सचीसुत गौरवरम् प्रणमामि सचीसुत गौरवरं प्रणमामि सचीसुत गौरवरम् जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतशिव श्रीमद् भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद Pada Paramahamsa Parivajaka Stotra Shata Shishimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Nanda Gaudiya Vaishnavrinda ki all glories to the Assembly devotees, all glories to the Assembly devotees, all glories to the Assembly devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Namo Vishnu. Shrimati Bhakti Vikasa Swaminiti Namane. Okay, just going to quickly check something. So we're going to be reading from Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adi Kanda, chapter 3, I believe. Yes. It does. Not on the thing. You have that on your phone? Who's playing this right now? Okay, so it's Adi Lila chapter 3, I believe. Oh, I can stream it from here. That's horrible. Yes. Okay. I can stream it from here. Oh, you want to do it or? Okay. You want to take this off? Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jai Jaya Dvaita Gaura Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna, Shri Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So today is the festival of Jagannatha Mishra. So it is the day that Jagannath Mishra, he jubilantly celebrates the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I'm trying to connect, but okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. So we're going to read through some of these texts from the Adi Kanda. I have till 8:30, so yep, that's why I'm not going on to the Bhagavatam. That's why I'm just going through this. So we'll look through some of these texts. We've just kind of gone through the beautiful form of Lord Chaitanya and how that's being described in the song that's we just went through. So now we'll go to through some of the texts here of the writing of Vrindavan Das Thakur and how he expresses this beautiful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, where Jagannath Mishra, he's celebrating this. You can see how amazing the whole atmosphere of Gaudiya, how the Gauda Desh, how it becomes enlivened by the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. As we can, for those who read the first canto of the Bhagavatam, if you remember, is it Arjuna, when Krishna leaves and then the whole world is like, it's mentioned that everything, all the beauty of the flowers disappear, the earth becomes completely, she becomes distraught. There's so many descriptions there, I can't exactly remember, but it's a very, not such a nice description when Krishna leaves, the whole world basically becomes depressed. But then we can see here, we can understand by reading through this, the effect of Lord Krishna, him taking that position again, coming back to this planet to exhibit his pastimes again. How much joyful just the earth must have been. How joyful all the living entities on this planet must have been. So we can go read through some of these texts before I begin. I'll chant a few prayers to my spiritual master, and then we can begin. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gnananjalakaya Chakshuruntamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Hina Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadagamam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Ragnathan Vitam Tam Sajivan Sadvaitam Savatitam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinavanda Jagatpate Gobisha Gopika Khanda Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchina Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vicha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminite Namine Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminite Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Devi Seshi Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Yananam Mayam Devam Nirmash Patikakri Adaram Sarva Vidyanam Hare Grivam Upasme. So, text 1. You want to make how to do the settings? Everyone can see now? Good. Okay. Prema Dhana Ratna Pasara Deka Gaura. How do I do this meter? I'll just read it straight. Okay. Prema Dhana Ratna Pasara Deka Gaura Chandra Bhajara. Behold Gaurachandra's marketplace, where the jewels of love of God are stacked high. Hena Mata Prabhura Haila Avatara Ajihari Sankirtana Kariye Prachara Chatur Dekhi Dhaya Loka Grahana Dekhiya Gangashnana Hari Bali Yayena Dhaya Yara Mukha Janmeha Nabhale Hari Nama Se Hari Bali Dhaya Kari Gangasnana Dashadik Purna Haila Uthe Hari Dwani Avatirna Haya Hasena Dvija Mani. So, in this way, Lord Gauranga appeared by first inaugurating the Sankirtan movement. From all directions, people went to the Gangas for bath while chanting the name of Hari. Even persons who never chanted the names of Hari in their lives also chanted the name of Hari, as they ran to the Ganges for bath. The sound vibrations of Hari's name filled the 10 directions. The Lord, who is the best of the Brahmanas, appeared with a smile on his face. Commentary. The tumultuous sound of the chanting of the names of Hari at the transcendental advent of Lord Gaura Sundar, the personification of Sri Krishna Sankirtan, indicated that he would later preach the devotional process of chanting the holy names and thus maintain the religious principles of this age. Do you want me? Should I read each verse, or should I'll just go through the translations. Seeing their son's face, Sachi and Jagannath were filled with ecstasy. They were so overwhelmed that they did not know what to do. The ladies there became excited and simply exclaimed, Jaya, Jaya. So commentary says that all the assembled ladies were totally bewildered. All the commentaries are very small, so I'll read through them too. Dhaya Aila Sabe Yata Apta. Sorry, I'm not reading this. Translation. All the relatives came rushing to the house of Jagannath Mishra, and the whole household became filled with bliss. The word Apta Gana refers to one's relatives. The father of Sachi Devi and great Brahmana Nilambara Chakravati noted wonderful planetary arrangements in each house of the child's horoscope. Commentary. Nilambara Chakravati was the father of Sachi Devi. He formerly resided as Magdoba in the district of Faridpura with present-day Bangladesh. Most of the learned Brahmanas at the time had knowledge of astrology. After calculating his horoscope, Nilambara Chakravati began to foretell the future of the Lord, his grandson. The particular zodiac sign that appears on the eastern horizon at the given time for a given place on earth is called a Lagna. The various planets headed by the sun move throughout the zodiac. The north-south zodiac extends 90 degrees and the east-west zodiac extends 360 degrees. The zodiac is divided into 12 equal signs or rashis, each consisting of 30 degrees. The second and consecutive signs after the rising sun or Janma Lagna are the 12 lagnas for wealth, brothers, friends, sons, education, enemies, wife, death, fortune, occupation, income, and expenditure. The word pratilagna means in the 12 lagnas, beginning with the lagna of the body. By the word adbhuta dekina, it is understood that he saw extraordinary fruits. So, if it's, I might not read through all the astrology that's there. Just want to get through some of this. So, in each house there were signs that indicated a king. Moreover, Chakravarti was astonished by the child's beauty and said, I'll just read this a little bit here. After scrutinizing study each of the Lord's lagnas, Nilambara Chakravarti foretold the highest fruits and was struck with wonder by seeing the Lord's beauty, because the Lord is the original personality of Godhead. There is a prediction that in the future a Brahmana will become the king of Bengal. The future will show whether this child is that personality. There was a prophecy amongst people that a great personality would be born in a Brahmana family of Bengal and become king. Nilambar Chakravarti thought that perhaps this boy would in the future become king of Bengal. Time would tell. Then the great astrologer Brahmana began to speak before everyone present about the symptoms of the various houses in the child's horoscope. I'll just go through here. The qualities I see in this child's horoscope are beyond those of a king. In fact, they are beyond all descriptions. While calculating the lagnas, Nilambar Chakravarti could understand the child's wonderful qualities. The words Raja Hena means as good as a king or topmost. Actually, no one can properly describe the qualities of this child. This child will be more learned than Brihaspati. He will soon manifest the reservoir of all good qualities. Brihaspati is the most learned personality in the heavenly planets. Mahaprabhu would surpass Brihaspati in spiritual knowledge rather than in insignificant material knowledge. In other words, the knowledge of Brahman attained through the material senses of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the incarnation of Brihaspati, was vanquished by the Lord, just as darkness is vanquished by the rising of the sun. In this way, the Lord would enlighten him in spiritual knowledge in the form of service to the Lord. Sriman Mahaprabhu does not have to endeavor to gradually acquire knowledge as experienced person labors hard to gradually acquire knowledge, for he is the ocean of all auspicious qualities. Therefore, on the slightest pretense, he will display the full mastery in all fields of knowledge. In that assembly was one great Brahmana devotee who began to describe the Lord's future activities. So, he said, this child is not different from Narayana. He will re-establish religious principles. The Brahmana said, this boy is Narayana himself, Lord of all lords. He will alone properly reconcile the conflicting principles of various religious preachers. Wow. He will preach wonderfully and thus deliver the entire world. This child will distribute throughout the world the splendor of devotional service which he has never before been preached. He will deliver everyone from this narrow-minded desire for material enjoyment, fruitive activities and speculative knowledge, and fix them in their eternal occupation, devotional service to the Lord. People will receive from him love of God that is desired even by Brahmas, Shiva and Shukadev. In the Chaitanya Chandramrita, it is stated, the dear devotees of Lord Gaura happily enjoy pastimes on the splendid path of pure devotional service, which great sages like Vyasadeva could not thoroughly understand, which material intelligence has no power to enter, which Shukadev Goswami could not reveal, and which merciful Lord Krishna never revealed to his devotees. O Lord Chaitanya Chandra, who enlightens the ignorant, then even though I am a wretch, I will not be far away from the wonderful path of pure devotion, which is rarely attained by Shiva, Shukadev, Uddhava, Narada, and other great souls. This child will indiscriminately give everyone that which great personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Shukadev Goswami always decide to obtain. Just by seeing him, the people of this world will develop love for him, compassion for other living entities, and detachment from material enjoyment. By seeing Sriman Mahaprabhu, the people of this world will develop love for Gaura Krishna and become kind to all living entities and equal in happiness and distress. What to speak of others, even Yavanas who are averse to Vishnu will worship the lotus feet of this child. In the Chaitanya Chandramrita, it is stated, those who are untouched by any piety, who are completely absorbed in irreligion, and who have never received the merciful glance of the devotee, or been to any holy places sanctified by them, are still ecstatically dancing loudly singing and even rolling about on the ground because they're intoxicated by the tasting the nectar of the transcendental mellows of pure love of God given by Lord Chaitanya. Let me therefore glorify that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Yavanas are naturally averse to Lord Vishnu, but even such Yavanas will give up such propensities to follow the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His glories will be sung in innumerable universes, and everyone, including Brahmanas, will offer respect to this child. The word Ihana means his. Brahmanas are spiritual masters of all other Varnas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, and Antyajas or Malechas. Such Brahmanas will also offer obeisances to this child, and the entire universe will become maddened by the fragrance of his fame. He is the personification of religious principles and the benefactor of the demigods, the Brahmanas, the spiritual masters, his fathers and mothers, and the sober devotees. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, the Supreme Being, the personality of Godhead, is the essence of the Vedic knowledge, the root of all religious principles, and the memory of great authorities. O King Yudhishthir, this principle of religion is to be understood as evidence on the basis of these religious principles. Everything is satisfied, including one's mind, soul, and even one's body. The gross body and subtle mental functions are all foreign. The soul's eternal activities are called Bhagavata Dharma. The transcendental body of this child is direct service of the Supreme Lord. In other words, he is the personification of devotional service to Lord Krishna. Therefore, godly qualities like subordination to the demigods, Brahmanas, spiritual masters, fathers and mother, who are all devotees of Vishnu, are present in him. So, just say a few words before I go on. You can kind of understand, generally in Vedic culture, like this is done. When your child is born, an astrologer is brought in. And he tells the future of the child, as we see with Srila Prabhupada too, that this person will go at the age of 70 and build so many temples. 108 temples. The prediction was made. So similarly, those who are born in this Vedic culture, the Brahmanas come, the astrologers come, and they tell the future of the child according to, as it was describing, and Kalki Prabhu knows all of this, I'm sure, but describing the different constellation of the stars, and according to that the descriptions of the great devotees or the Supreme Personality of Godhead are foretold. Now, we were discussing last time how actually the stars, when a great devotee or the Supreme Personality of Godhead is born, they take the position of they're honored to be in that position, to show off that position. Oh, look how great this personality of Godhead is. Look how great this devotee is. Not that the devotees are dependent on the, like Srila Prabhupada or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are present, dependent on these stars to be aligned in order to perform their activities. But the stars take that honor to align themselves in such a way to glorify that devotee. So we see the description of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that it couldn't be described. He says, the astrologer who is Nilambar Chakravarti? Yeah, Nilambar Chakravarti, he's describing, he say, although I can try to describe it, he will be the greatest of kings, but actually he's beyond any sort of king. His activities cannot be described. So the Mayavadis often in the scripture, it's also stated like this in the Ishopanishad. How does it come? That he walks, how does it start? If you just start it, I can. He has, what is it? He's very far, but he's very. So, right? So that the scriptures, they speak of this, the Ishopanishads, they speak of this. But how can they understand the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? They cannot be described in words. They cannot be described. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to all these things. So the future of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu more or less can be just glimpsed at. Because the glory of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is unlimited. Even if the astrologer wanted to predict his activities, even if he wanted to lay them out, it would, just like, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he says, I can write volumes and volumes, but I'm getting so old. I can't put this all. I have to summarize all this. First he summarizes it, and then he goes and say, if just in case I happen to leave my body, at least this is here. But he says, I can write so many volumes of books on just one day of, just one day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can describe so much. So what to speak of an astrologer trying to describe? This is a glorification of how the astrologer, he's so mesmerized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He understands. So he's describing slightly, and you can imagine the ecstasy of Jagannatha Mishra. You know, when the astrologer comes to your house and he tells good things about your child, you can imagine the honor of the parent, because naturally there's love and affection for the child. You don't know the child yet, but because it's your child, there's natural love and affection. So you can imagine the ecstasy of Jagannatha Mishra and Sachimata, of how they could, just by hearing this, they would have been filled with transcendental ecstasy of all the residents of Gauda Desh. They would have been completely filled with ecstasy that this great personality has come, and he's going to resolve all the issues in understanding scripture, all these different conclusions people have come to. He's going to completely resolve all these things. He's gonna establish religious principles. Not only that, he will liberate the Yavanas and the Malechas. Even they will worship him. It's such an amazing description that which was desired by Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami, the great speaker of the Bhagavatam, one who was speaking in front of all the great sages, who all the great sages were listening to. Even Shukadeva Goswami couldn't do such things. So it's described that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his position is so special. His position is so special. Even Krishna, he couldn't give this to everyone. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his position is that special. That he's come specifically to give it. I mean, some of this description describes us perfectly. Our position of a Yavana and a Malecha. Outside the Vedic culture, what is the question of worshipping Vishnu? So sorry, I'm trying to see. I forget now where I was up to. This one here. Right. So, what to speak of the others? Even Yavanas who are averse to Vishnu will worship the lotus feet of this child. Those who are untouched by any piety, who are completely absorbed in irreligion, and who have never received the merciful glance of the devotees or been to any holy place sanctified by them, are still ecstatically dancing, loudly singing, and even rolling about on the ground because they are intoxicated by tasting the nectar of transcendental mellows of pure love of God given by Lord Chaitanya. Let me therefore glorify that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is what piety do we have? What piety, the irreligion we're absorbed in, eating meat, gambling, breaking all the principles. One devotee was telling me that every day I was breaking all the 4 regular principles every day. Every single day he was breaking a regular principle. All 4 at this. You can do it at the same time. You could. I mean, there's places that you can. Mm-hmm. So we're absorbed in this religion, breaking all these regulated principles. One who does such things, he is completely disqualified from reading the Vedas, understanding the Vedas, what to speak of getting love of Godhead. That's very far in the distance. Atyanta durlabha prema karibari dan. Atyanta durlabha. It's very, very, so far in the distance. It's unbelievable. Even Brahma, even for him, it's so far in the distance. What to speak of us? Insignificant little living entities, absorbed in a religion, who have never received the merciful glance of devotees. We've just all we see all our life is the faces of other karmis who want to exploit us. You know, even I have this experience when devotees walk around in different places, like specifically I noticed it in Walmarts and things like that. People see the devotees and they're stunned. They're like, whoa. They're really stunned. They're like, whoa, I've never seen anybody like this before. Because it's like this, it's really quite different to see devotees that are completely shaved head. This tilak is on there, and they're wearing saffron, or even white. They're shining actually. So, so they're shining because they're absorbed in this. Well, you see this this Bahukoti Chandarjine. Bahukoti Chandarjine Vadana Ujvala. Is that Galadeshe Vanamalam? Galadeshe Vanamalam. Kore Jhalamala. So Lord Chaitanya, he is shining greater than Bahukoti and the thousands of moons. Thousands of moons. He's more beautiful than thousands of moons shining like that. So when the devotee meditates upon Lord Chaitanya, when he is absorbed in this ecstatically dancing, chanting, and in the movement of Lord Chaitanya, he also exhibits some of these symptoms. So people see that merciful glance of a Vaishnava, that glance actually seeing this tilak, seeing this shaved head. Prabhupada said they're just like coming from Vaikuntha. When they shave this head, they have this tilak, they wear this dress that Lord Chaitanya very much favored. Then they look they're like just coming from Vaikuntha. They're just coming to save the fallen conditioned souls. Like we were joking yesterday, this old Mataji was walking across us when we were going to the park. And he just got like randomly, it's like, I was trying to think about it in the perspective of karma. It's like the middle of the day and she's just walking. And then there's like these three devotees walking around in like shaved head like this. And we're like joking, Miss, we've come to take you. You know? We're like, she was like really old. So like, she's like, I think you've left your body. Well, you got to come with us. You got to. So, no, she didn't come. She just said, hi, this is a beautiful day. And then we were joking after that. We were joking like that. That you could tell her that. It's like, because it's like seeing like bunch of like devotees walk in the middle of a park and you've never seen any type of these people before. It's like quite bewildering. I'm like, who the heck are these people? So Lord Chaitanya's, you can imagine the ecstasy of Jagannath Mishra, his own son. This is his own son. This is his own son. This is Sachi Devi. This is their own son. So the ecstasy, even when we speak about it, all these things that Lord Chaitanya is predicted to do, it's so enlivening to the heart. It's so the Ananda Hridaya Nache, the heart dances in ecstasy by hearing these descriptions of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But you can imagine the ecstasy of Jagannath Mishra and his wife Sachi. So we can go on, it will come. So his glories will be sung in innumerable universes, and everyone, including Brahmanas, will offer respect to this child. He is the personification of religious principles and the benefactor of the demigods, the Brahmanas, spiritual master, his father and mother. I think I read through that. So just as Vishnu incarnates and induces people to follow religious principles, this child will perform similar activities. Who has the power to explain the auspicious symptoms that are found in the houses of this child's horoscope? I was gonna try to get to Jagannath Mission. Anyways, whenever there is a danger in this material world, the demigods pray to the Supreme Lord. Lord Vishnu then incarnates and protects the demigods and human beings from the danger. This child will also be as powerful as Lord Vishnu while he fulfills his mission. O Jagannath Mishra, you are indeed glorious and fortunate, because this child is your son. I offer my respectful obeisance unto you. Seeing Jagannath Mishra's son and hearing his glories, everyone considered Jagannath Mishra most fortunate. They congratulated him and offered him their obeisances. I am also fortunate to have had privilege of calculating his horoscope. This child's name will be Sri Vishambhara. The Brahmana decided, I have become fortunate simply by calculating the horoscope of the Lord. The name of this child will be Vishambhara. What does Vishambhara mean? One who holds the entire universe. Yet people will call him Navadvip Chandra. Know for certainly that this child is the personification of spiritual ecstasy. People will call this child Navadvip Chandra, and they will know him as the embodiment of unalloyed ecstasy. The Brahmana did not mention anything about the Lord's accepting sannyas out of fear for creating a distressful condition amidst a joyful occasion. Although the Brahmana foresaw auspicious symptoms indicating the Lord's acceptance of sannyas, out of fear of disturbing the festive atmosphere, he did not disclose this unhappy news. Jagannath Mishra was overwhelmed with ecstasy upon hearing the child's glories, and he desired to give something in charity to the Brahmana. But because Jagannath Mishra was extremely poor, he simply took hold of Brahmana's feet and cried. The Brahmana then grabbed hold of Jagannath Mishra's feet and cried, while the people present there chanted, Hari, Hari in ecstasy. Hearing the Lord's extraordinary horoscope, the friends and the relatives there happily chanted, Jai, Jai. The word Divya Koshti refers to the horoscope of godly personalities. At that time, various musicians came and began to enthusiastically play mirdangas, shanais, and flutes. So we know what a mirdanga is. Demigods mixed unnoticed with the ladies. Demigoddesses mixed unnoticed with the ladies present there. After understanding that the Lord had advented, the wives of the demigods mixed with the ladies of the world and assembled at the house of Jagannath Mishra with the desire to see the Lord. No one could distinguish the demigods from the worldly women. Aditi, the mother of demigods, with her right hand placed paddy and durva grass on the head of the child and blessed him by saying, live a long life. And Chiranjeevi, the Guru Maharaj was also saying that when you give blessings to a child, you Chiranjeevi host. There's higher in the. They did this when we were young. If you're even my grandma, when I call her, that's where the end of the call. When I talk to her, she gets fried out because I don't call her often enough. But she says that it means may you live forever. May you live forever. So the word Sayahate in this verse means right hand. The word Deva Mata refers to Aditi, the wife of Kashyapa Muni. She desired that the Lord would always remain on this earth planet. Therefore, she smiled and she blessed him with the words, live a long life. Although Mother Sachi saw the beautiful demigoddesses there, she was too shy to inquire about their identities. The demigoddesses took the dust from Sachi Devi's feet, and Sachi became speechless out of joy. The happiness experienced in the house of Jagannath Mishra could not be described by either Lord Ananta or the Vedas. They were unlimited. Even Lord Ananta with his thousands of mouths could not describe the ecstasy fueled in the house of Jagannath Mishra. This is one day. Or to speak of talking about the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is no end to these descriptions. There is no end to the ecstasy one can experience when discussing the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. People at that house of Sachi and throughout Nadia felt such ecstasy that it was beyond description. Whether in the village, in the house, or on the banks of the Ganges, everywhere, people continually chanted the names of Lord Hari. Everyone observed the festival of Lord appearance while thinking they were celebrating the occasion of the eclipse. Since there was a lunar eclipse that night, many people unknowingly celebrated the appearance of Mahaprabhu. Although the celebration was performed on the account of lunar eclipse, they were actually meant for Lord appearance. Common men, however, did not understand this fact. Lord Chaitanya appeared on the full moon night of the month of Phalgun, a day thus worshipped by Brahma and others. This day is the reservoir of devotional service and therefore most sanctified because Supreme Lord, the best of the Brahmanas, appeared on that day. Lord Nityananda Prabhu appeared on the 13th day of the waxing moon in the month of Magha, and Gaurachandra appeared on the full moon evening in the month of Phalgun. These 2 days are most auspicious because all favorable planetary conjunctions are present on these days. Therefore, whoever observes these 2 days attains devotion to Lord Krishna and freedom from the bondage to ignorance. Just as the appearance of the Lord is sanctified, the appearance days of the Vaishnavas are also. So, commentary in the Brahma Purana, it is stated, fortunate are those persons of Kali Yuga who observe the appearance days of Vishnu's by staying awake at night and fasting. They are not subject to the great fear of rebirth in this material world. Wherever they reside, Kali cannot affect them. Observing vows on the appearance days of eternal Supreme Lord gives liberation. These observances of vows for pleasure of Vishnu are the greatest good in his life and the greatest dharma. By observing these two auspicious days, the 13th day of the waxing moon in the month of Magh and the full moon day in the month of Falgun, March, April, a conditioned soul nescience is destroyed and its propensity for serving Krishna is awakened. One may observe the appearance day of the Lord by fasting and holding a festival. Just as appearance of the Lord is pure, the appearance days of Lord's devotees are also pure. One must certainly hold festivals on those days. Whoever hears about the appearance of Lord Gaurasundar will never feel distress, either during this life or at the time of death. By hearing the topics of Sri Chaitanya, one attains the fruit of devotional service to the Supreme Lord and accompanies the Lord in his pastimes, life after life. The topics of Adikanda are most pleasing to hear because they describe the appearance of the Supreme Personality Godhead, Lord Gaurachandra. Although the Vedas describe the Lord's appearance and disappearance, there is actually no end to his pastimes. I don't see any beginning or end of the topics of Sri Chaitanya. I simply write down whatever he mercifully induces me to speak. So, what's the long purport? That's a long purport. So, yeah, that's the end of the chapter. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Gaurachandra along with his devotees, so that I may not commit any offenses at his feet. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chanda Jana Vrindavana Dasa Tachu Pade Yuge Gana. Accepting Shri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends the English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad, Chapter 3, entitled Calculations of the Lord's Horoscope. So you can get a glimpse of the ecstasy of Jagannatha Mishra, who is extremely poor. He has no wealth. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the golden avatar. He has the topmost thing. He has gold actually. He has the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his own son. So who could experience more ecstasy? How much that ecstasy cannot even be described. The chanting of the holy names were going on so loudly. The body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was being observed by all those that were present. Everybody could feel the descent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Advaita Acharya would have been dancing in ecstasy. You can imagine all the Panchatattva completely dancing in ecstasy. The whole world was in complete ecstasy of having Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If anybody wants to experience this is called, he is the embodiment of a spiritual ecstasy. So many festivals we've worked, these people taking so many drugs. But this is the real way. Just like people came yesterday and they were observing this festival. They have eternal benefit in their bank account. So, like you were saying yesterday to the people that were here, that if you don't ever come back, just remember this one day in your life. Just at least remember this one day at the time of death. Forget about all your other hogwash ideas and all your aspirations and desires, and just remember this one day with the very, very clearly. Just hold this in your mind, very dear. Hold this very dearly in your heart. And that itself will save us from all calamities in life. We'll be completely liberated just by thinking of Lord Chaitanya at the time of death. And for those who are engaged in the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with their whole life, even at the end of life, Vayur Anilam Amritam, Atedam Bhashvantam Sariram, Om Kritosmara Kritam Smara, Kritosmara Kritam Smara. That at the end of life, Lord Chaitanya will remember us and our service that we've done for him. And in that mood, he will reciprocate with us, and he will come and take us out of our miserable condition. So Jagannath Mishra, he's in complete ecstasy of hearing and seeing about the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And at the same time, there's so much longing and separation that is not being told in order to not to disturb the festival. The taking of sannyas of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very much disliked by the followers by those close devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why you'll always see Lord Chaitanya with his hair. You see him in his form, not as a sannyasi, because in that state, the devotees, the devotees of Gaudiya, they experience so much separation from him, because Lord Chaitanya, he travels and he travels all around India, and then he lives in Jagannath Puri. So we can Jagannath Mishra, he's experienced that ecstasy of seeing the Lord appearing, and we can also experience that same ecstasy if we're at that level of consciousness. More than that, also we can remember the pastimes that have gone on in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life, that is going on also. So even when we remember the different pastimes that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is performing, just like we were describing, that it's crazy what we do, some of the things we get into, some of the things that we're able to do, some of the things that we're empowered to do. And when we think of them again, we roll in ecstasy, laugh in ecstasy, dance in ecstasy. Just by remembering those, sometimes we're filled with, our voices choke up, our hair stand on end, just by thinking of all those different services that we performed for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and how our spiritual master is engaging us in his service. So one can start to experience this ecstasy of devotional service when one starts to remember and contemplate and serve the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And for us in this place is very easy. It's very easy. It's very easy to do that. It's day in, day out. That is our mood and mission. That is the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada. That is the mood and mission of all of our acharyas. And so if we're engaged in that service, and our minds are always absorbed in how to expand the Sankirtan movement. Lord Chaitanya is the personification of this Sankirtan movement. He is the Sankirtan movement. Just like he's the embodiment of ecstasy, he is this Sankirtan movement. So we're a part of this movement where sometimes we take it for granted, but we have to recognize how special our position in this Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, this line of Gaudiya Vaishnava is. That we're initiated in this line, and we're following in the line of such great personalities that have come to give, which so many other Brahma, Shukadev Goswami, all these great personalities couldn't do. So we're engaged in that ecstatic service which the demigods are waiting, they're lining up to come and take part in. So we're very fortunate, we're Yavanas and Melechas, and we have no qualification, but that is that us becoming pure devotees of the Lord is the glorification of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How great he is, how amazing he is. So we can remember this day. This is Jagannath Mishra's festival. This is the ecstasy of Jagannath Mishra's festival. We can be absorbed in that. We had the festival yesterday of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. Now today we can also continue on that. Every day we can have a festival like that. Every day is a festival for us. It's just we have to be absorbed in it. So if there's any comments or questions that devotees would like to ask, then we can go for a little bit. 5 minutes.
In the same Chaitanya Bhagavad, in the same Chaitanya Bhagavad, it actually says that at the time of Lord Chaitanya's appearance, there was the lunar eclipse, and all the Hindus were going and chanting Hari Hari, and Advaita Acharya and Hari also bathing in that, and they were also chanting Hari Hari, and they could understand that Lord Chaitanya has appeared. And then it's in this verse it says that everyone in the world was chanting the name of Hari, including the Muslims too, because they were like mocking the devotee, Hari Hari, ha ha, Hari Hari, and like that all of them were all chanting too, you know. So everyone was chanting. It's not some poetic description or something. But
it's actually happening. Yeah,
actually happened. And I wanted to ask a question in regards to the bhajan you had sung. So, verse number 5 of this bhajan. Yeah, you can go to the Sanskrit of it, please. And zoom in. Yeah, Kula Kamani Manasa Lasya Karam. Look at the translation of that.
Kula Kamani.
Yeah.
He's the most attractive.
Is the
the minds of beautiful young.
Yeah, so like by his dramatic dancing, was that he exhibits the
characteristics of the king of Paramas.
And the next line, he causes the minds of beautiful young village women to dance. You know, could you explain that? Because like usually we end, like this whole thinking of Lord Chaitanya, has having nothing to do with women and all this stuff. And
Yeah, I mean, we see in the some of the pastimes that he does, even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, how he goes and teases this woman on the they're saying, oh, you'll get a wife like that of a you'll get a very ugly husband. All you women, if you don't worship me, you'll have very ugly husbands. He seems to do that in his childhood pastimes, but later, actually, Kogi Prabhu was telling me something amazing. Was no, he only joked with his own wife once. That's so heavy. That's seriously heavy. Like for those who want to come to the platform of renunciation, especially as brahmacharis, or that those who are aspiring to be brahmacharis their whole life, take note. Lord Chaitanya he joked with his own wife once. How to come to that platform? We have to, like, even on book distribution, how to be careful, because it works away, right? So this seems like he causes the minds of beautiful young village women to dance, the minds to dance, but the village women aren't coming and dancing with him. Everybody's minds is dancing in ecstasy when they see Lord Chaitanya. So he's causing that. When you see the body of Lord Chaitanya, it's described, it's like just so beautiful. But the women, if you see the culture, the women don't dance actually generally. If they do, I mean, there's like in this book of Mothers and Masters, so many at the end of it, so many descriptions that women are dancing and they're in Mayapur, and one of the security guards goes and stops him, says, "What are you doing? What is this?" Or there's a little girl dancing very high, jumping ecstatically, but the mother goes and pulls her away, say, "What is this?" She slaps him. So women are not meant to display that. Why? Because the bodily form of a woman, it exhibits it. The man, if he sees that, he'll become lusty after it. So it's not. It doesn't state that he was dancing with women, or that the women are dancing with him or near him or anything like that. But the minds, certainly, there's no problem in that. Your mind dances in ecstasy. They can't even stop it. Even if they wanted to, they couldn't. So it's quite a beautiful description that he is causing the minds of beautiful young village women to dance. Of course, even just any beautiful man walks in here. I'm not a Mataji or a woman, but like I'm sure at least we can understand if some beautiful girl walked in here, the minds of men, they start to like wonder, oh, who's this person, or where does he come from? It's like the Bhagavatam. Is she married? Who's your father? We don't do that nowadays, but you can see the mind starts to, if it's attractive to the man, this mind starts to dance. It's like, oh, well, she's so beautiful, or she's like this. Same thing, It's just like Lord Chaitanya is so beautiful. So like that, is that okay? Anything else? Oh, Tyrese.
So also in the
You forgot.
No, it's somewhere on there. It says that Lord Chaitanya played the cartel. He never played Mridanga nor.
He never. I've never seen a description of Lord Chaitanya playing mridanga. That's all I know. That's what I've been told. That also, he played. But did he play mridanga? Does it say he would play mridanga? I don't know. This is what I was.
I've never heard of that.
Which one are you talking about?
I don't know. He's read six. Take 6.
He plays the kartals as his throat emits sweet melodious sounds. But he doesn't say. What does it say? He plays mridanga.
No, I was just adding that. No, I'm adding it to it.
Yeah.
I said you
I
told
did.
me. Yeah,
I said mridanga. I never said kartals.
That's what I was trying
There's
to say.
description. I think there's some descriptions of him playing kartal, but there's no harmonium. So I don't know if there's a description of that. I've never read it before, but there is some descriptions like the kartals. I don't know, wampus maybe. I don't know. This is more like research, detail research.
Who exactly is Jagannatha Mishra? Like, I think in the 10th canto it talks about how
Yeah,
Krishna descends.
Nanda Maharaj.
Oh, he's Nanda Maharaj.
Yes.
No, 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 no. Like, no, I'm no, no, no.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm saying when he descends, like the parents he takes,
Yeah,
like
it's
they're
Nanda
like,
Maharaj.
okay, okay. I see.
Yeah, that's. I mean, every they're the same every time Krishna comes. It's Nanda Maharaj. It's actually Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev. Yeah, both. Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev. Avadut Chandra Prabhu.
Prabhu, you talked about this verse. You went back to it, but I just thought this verse was like really incredible. It's the third chapter, text 20, where it says that those who are untouched by any piety or absorbed in irreligion and who have never received the merciful glance of the devotees or been in any holy place sanctified them are still ecstatically dancing. I was just like blown away by that.
Yeah.
That's so incredible. How is it that even if you don't receive the merciful glance of the devotees, you can still roll on the ground, dance, sing loudly? That part, I was like, that's really something interesting. Because it seems like the devotees got to show you some special mercy in order for you to be like, have some attachment or feeling towards the holy name, you know? That is like a powerful statement.
Because is it because they're intoxicated by tasting the nectar, transcendental mellows of pure love of God given by Lord Chaitanya?
That's really interesting, yeah.
It's, the thing is like really like Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, just really amazing descriptions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, anything else from the Matajis or Nali? You have something? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just so you were saying that everybody in the world was chanting Hari at the time of his appearance, and so it makes me think like even Christopher Columbus was chanting Hari,
Yeah.
which was not in my history book. You know, I didn't read that. But
Hurry, we gotta find India.
yeah, that's what it's that. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody at that point.
I was curious, why with the other sampradayas they don't accept Lord Chaitanya, I guess, is at least he's just a very qualified brahmana or something. And why is that? Because these are very like detailed, beautiful, like.
Yeah, you have to read in the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam gives that there's mentioned that there's a golden personality who is, you know, he has this complexion and he will spread the holy name of the Lord like this. So, and then there's different descriptions, different shastras that give the symptoms of Lord Chaitanya and things like that. So we can look through those. There's again more details that one can look at, but it's there.
If you want to know, you can understand seeing Gauranga in Vishnu Sahasranam.
Yeah.
It's a really awesome lecture. Suvarna Varna Hemango Varanga Chandan-Acharya. Sannyasa Krit. I'm forgetting the rest of the word, but there's so many descriptions of Lord Chaitanya. So many in the Shastra. And also Lord Chaitanya is one of the Channa avatar. He's the hidden avatar too. There's so much.
And you have something, Abhimanyu? Because why is he known as a hidden avatar? That's what he like. It's like how. I don't know. That's true.
Actually, the Shiva Vaishnava saying that Balaji is the incarnation of Vishnu in Kali Yuga. You know, and that's a whole complicated thing.
Yeah.
But he's also known as Shan Avatar because Lord Chaitanya specifically comes to the Supreme Personality of God in the role of devotee.
Okay. Anything else, Matajis? No questions. Okay. All right. Chaitanya Bhagavad Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu